Morning, everybody. Hope you're well. Today we're gonna play some Coral Dice game. We had a poll yesterday with some name ideas, but right now we're chewing on some pretty tough design problems. Um, so I'm kind of hoping that if I explain them and talk them out a bit, that might help. So yeah, let's check it out. Problems. Okay. So let's see if I can explain the fundamental issue here. So the goal of the game is to get these sets of dice in your hand. Right now I need to get 4 fours. So the most direct way to do that is by placing on these reroll tiles here. And especially, some feedback that I've heard from the testers um, is that this double brown reroll um, gives you 2 dice, so it tends to be more efficient than the single orange. However, in this case, you need 4s so the browns don't cut it. But then you can sometimes transmute those browns that you made into oranges. And that's all an interesting chain of events, and there's decisions that happen there, and it's cool. It's working as a game. But it means that when I'm designing, if I go to design new tiles for the shop or whatever, if they don't have re-roll abilities to replace the die that you placed on the board, like this one for example, like when I place this fish on the board like this to get some nutrients, I'm down a die from 4 to 3 in my hand. And because the goal is have 4 dice in your hand to activate it, this tile has to be very, very powerful um, to make up for the fact that it doesn't add another die to my hand. So that means that all the tiles that I design has to be super powerful, and that just constrains the design of them a lot. There's only so many things you can do with them. So there's kind of a couple competing design problems here. It's like I want to make more unique tiles, but they all have to have reroll faces on them. So I have to find some way to make it so the tiles don't need reroll faces. Secondly, what should the tiles have on them? So that's kind of related to the second point. Placement on the board still doesn't matter enough. You're building out to the sides of the board or this nutrient tile, or to get to these pods for a new goal and stuff, and that works pretty good. And even for these charge abilities, which I'm going to retheme as like dig abilities, so you're going to be digging in the sand for goodies. But it still could matter more, I think. And especially, I want the tiles to together inform each other for placement. So there might be ones that you want to have close to each other or far away from each other, or in certain rows or something. I was considering having these different rows correspond to different die faces somehow with the tiles. So maybe a tile says you play a die here, and then you can set another die face to be whatever the column is, for example. Stuff like that. And then just generally, like, I can solve these issues by bolting on new mechanics, probably. And just opening, well, first of all, by mitigating the reroll issue somehow, making it so you reroll more consistently. And then secondly, by like adding mechanics that can interface with this. But I already feel like there are quite a few mechanics. Like if we just enumerate them, like you're placing dice on the board, they have certain requirements for how you can place them. They reroll dice in your hand, which you can use the sunlight to move around and stuff, which is these resources, and you can collect the resources from these terrain spaces. And there's this shop of tiles, and you're trying to meet a goal with dice in your hand, and there's different dice colors, and there's just a lot going on already. Then there's these pods that you can activate to get new goals or new dice and stuff. So Ideally, we'd be simplifying the game, making reroll not matter as much, and making placement matter more. So probably there's some mechanic here that's not pulling its weight, um, doing enough of that stuff. One thing that I considered is one way to make it so you don't, not every tile has to necessarily have a reroll, but it might not be strong enough, is that you meet these goals from the board. So I already have a 4 out here now. So when I click meet goal, instead of meeting it from my hand, I would meet it from the board. So I have a 4 out here now. So then I'd have to find some way, like maybe reroll this. Yeah, like this. And then now I have 2 4s on the board. So then maybe later I meet the goals from here. And that means that even though I'm down a die from this space, it's kind of okay as long as I have enough die to keep playing. So that's kind of cool. And then also potentially, like, based on these goals, like you can make these goals positional as well. Like you could say, oh, I need to have a 4, I don't know, in this column, or I need to have something. I don't know how you would. So like, yeah, so maybe there's a way to have the goals care about position on the board. Somehow, simply, but I don't know. It's difficult to imagine how, like, it's gonna start to look very graph-like if I have like, oh, this column needs this and this, whatever. Maybe there's like symbols associated with these or something. Not sure. There's already so like there's like symbol icons for this and icons for this, and there's a lot of icons already. Another thing I was considering is having it so there's some high rolling dice, and then the goals start using these high rolling dice. So then you have to like build up to the higher dice by getting some, like a die or a tile that can roll like a magenta die that rolls a d12, a 12-sided die or something like that. But that's not really addressing this reroll tile problem head on. Yeah. So yeah, really, like, ideally. So okay, yeah, another idea that I had was, so these charge abilities where you're digging up dice from the sand here. So one thing that I considered is making it so all the spaces have a charge, and the spaces that are further out require less charge. All spaces have a charge. 5 moving down to 3 or something. And then when you dig up the last one on a space, you get to add 2 cool tile, like race tiles, to your pool. Add new race specific tiles to the shop. Kind of like the the Solar Settlers goals, where you'll complete a goal and then you'll get like a Formid card, or you'll get like a Thurluni card, something like that. Yeah. So then, but then these charge abilities, instead of being all different charge abilities that activate on the 3rd charge, they would be rerolls. So you don't get rerolls from these tiles anymore, or maybe you do. So maybe you have like this tile here is a reroll black, but then also if you place this nutrient here, when you play here, you could also get a reroll black, say, and that could work pretty good too, maybe. Like maybe the reroll tiles. I mean, that mitigates the issue. It's a little weird that you like stack like this double reroll with another reroll under it. So then like I could have like a black reroll here. You make the goals on the board. Yeah, exactly. I totally agree. I'm not familiar with Kakuro, but yeah. I think that helps with the reroll issue at least. But yeah, so like then you could stack on here and have this actually be rolling 3 dice. But as long as the pool in here is fairly limited, like the size of this, and you're limited on placement from nutrients, um, like I don't know, maybe it's okay. It's hard to say. You can get a lot. You can get a lot of dice out here. But okay, so say I do that. So say I do that solution where these bottom right hand corner things become the die that you're re-rolling. And that's fine. So then and then I can have some tiles be like set die faces to whatever, and that's cool. But it's still, there's not that many tiles that I can design. Like I can design tiles that set dice to faces, I can design tiles that give you nutrients or sunlight, I can design, yeah, if the goals have position matters, then I can design, like this movement tile means that you can move a die around to put it in a correct position, that's cool, but I already have this movement tile. Um, so really, there needs to be um, some other thing that makes you want more different tiles. Um, yeah. Like this feels really good. I think this all works really well, but the problem, and it's a little hard to articulate the problem, but the problem is that when you go to play, because there's not a huge variety of these tiles, there's nothing like exciting about coming back because it's not like there's never a moment of like, oh holy cow, I drew a X tile and it's like different and now I have to play differently or whatever. Um, yeah, at least I feel that way about a lot of games. I know a lot of people don't feel that way, but yeah. Anyway, I guess I'll play this for a bit. Yeah, like that's kind of the major design challenge right now. Like everything else seems very solvable to me. Like there's some minor stuff, but that's the thing that's like intractable. So I place this here, and then like this all works really well. All of this stuff that I'm doing right now, I think. Like it feels very much like a game, and it works. Something like that, I guess. There's some like interface issues, but that's okay. Like I could solve those. Like fish shouldn't be attacking your goals, for example, but like it's fine. It doesn't meet the goal like this. There's all kinds of cool like efficiency plays I can make. There's lots of decision making. This thing where you like uncover old tiles, like your best tiles to use them again is a little flat probably. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. I can't win now because of that bug where the fish are attacking goals, but yeah. I don't know, and it even like it feels good to meet the goals from your hand. It's cool. There just needs to be like another dimension to it or something like like maybe the goal you have to have a fish on certain spaces. But even that like if it's if the solution for the goal problem is related to position on the board, um we already have this movement tile, and I'm not sure that there's so many more of those things available. So I guess the other solution is like simplify the game, remove the extraneous mechanics, and just have it be like a simpler, uh, like offer it for a low price and have it be like a simple, casual type, or more casual for bring it games anyway, type game. Um, like maybe it just doesn't have the legs of like Axes or Solar or something. I guess that's possible as well. Yeah, like this is the same problem that I had with like Skyboats or Minos early on. It's like why do you come back to play the game? Like what is gonna come and surprise you after you've played now? Because like this is all enjoyable. I'm like doing stuff, but like yeah, I think I've articulated the issue. Not sure. Anyway, that's that's what's going on in game design land. Um, for we can check out the name poll. Wait a second, what am I doing? Let's go here. Deep Sea Dice looks like the most promising name from the early poll. However, I was talking to a bunch of people on Discord and in real life and stuff yesterday, and oh yeah, Rolling Tides seems like well, it's significantly lower really. I think it's just a little bit more bland also. Yeah, so probably that's not one of the names. But people really seem to like this Roller Reef name idea. So I might do like a runoff poll with like just these three. Coral Paradise is nice too. It's a cool pun. Somebody pointed out that, I think No More Birds pointed out that deep sea dice, like coral reefs, are not in the deep sea, and that's true. And for this one, Coral Paradise, Paradise, like Utopia works, but it's not a, for the other side of the pond, for the dice, it's not a pair of dice, it's like a whole pool of dice. So that grinds my gears a little bit. Um, but it's not the worst. It's a cute name. These are all decent, I think. So maybe I'll do a runoff pool with just these three. A runoff poll rather. Yeah. Why don't we play a game of Minos to wrap up? Rank 14, damn. Okay. Harry's is nice. I could attack move too if I wanted. This is a okay move. I'll probably hold on to that. And I already have attack move too, so I don't need another one probably. Okay. I really want to do this attack move. I have some pretty good options here. So I think I'm gonna do this. And this. Spawning like crazy. I've started to like moves like this too lately, where I'm gonna move off the point here, to defend my guy. I think that's actually pretty good, because he wasn't gonna score this round anyway. Wow, this is worth a lot right now. I can get a 2. Start moving him like boop, 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 something like that. There's a lot of threats. This is actually pretty decent. Let's do that. Score the temples for 1,000,000,000,000 points. And then I kind of like this too. I think this is gonna be better actually. Eat the snake, eh? Eat the snake before the snake eats you. It's not actually all that great, but neither is this. I'm really not set up for this at all. Maybe I can be with Hermes? Still think this is better. Okay. So wonder if there's a way I can get into position like this. Really, I would want to arch like down like this. So I could place one here. And then, yeah, I don't know, this seems good, sure. Then like this, and like this. And then I can do some moving. Cool. Seems good. I think I've played well enough defensively that I should be able to take it. Oh, this is cool. Okay. Right. Good rule. I guess I got competing musics going on, eh? My bad. I guess this is strictly better. So we'll do like this. Spawn 2. Found lethal! Woo! I even got a achievement for rank 15. Very nice. Cool. Yay! Okay, well, I think that's gonna pretty much do it for the stream. I think I'm going to likely go ahead with this idea for now of these bottom right abilities having reroll faces on them, and then try to think of other ways that I can make tiles that matter for some reason, and see where that gets me. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have an excellent day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.